time for the New Hampshire National Guard News. I'm Army Sergeant Courtney Selig. Here are today's top stories. OSADET 18 departs for another deployment. The 238th receives a prestigious award. SURF-P passes their disaster response evaluation, and the 54th Troop Command assumption of responsibility. For our first story, I was fortunate enough to attend the departure ceremony of one of New Hampshire's aviation units as they head out the door yet again for another deployment. From Concord, New Hampshire, here's the story. For the third time since 2007, members of the community, family, friends, and fellow New Hampshire National Guardsmen say goodbye to soldiers of Operational Support Airlift Detachment 18 as they prepare yet again to deploy, this time to Kuwait and Afghanistan. Commander of OSADET, Chief Warrant Officer Joseph Ducey, tells us about his unit.
The unit's larger than it normally is. We were looking for people to fill that. And so we had some volunteers from within New Hampshire Guard. Everybody has volunteered in one way or another, because even the guys that have been doing it a long time are way over 20 years and could retire anytime they want and didn't. That's a form of volunteering in my mind.
For some of the unit, this is their first deployment, while others have deployed multiple times.
Thank you for stepping up, and thank you for what you have all done. We know that so many of you have endured multiple deployments as part of this detachment.
From everyone in the New Hampshire National Guard, we wish you a successful deployment and a safe return. For the 114th Public Affairs Detachment, I'm Army Sergeant Courtney Selig. New Hampshire's 238th Medevac Unit was awarded the Meritorious Unit Commendation. Bringing us the story is Army Sergeant Kayla Rorick.
Soldiers and dignitaries have gathered here at the Army Aviation Support Facility as New Hampshire's 238th Medevac Company receives the Meritorious Unit Commendation. The 238th, call sign Dust Off, became an instrumental asset to many units during their 2013 deployment to Afghanistan. Their mission? To airlift wounded military members and civilians to the next level of care. The medevac assets provided groundbreaking in-flight blood transfusions, increasing survival odds. The 238th Company Commander, Major Jason Richards, tells us why this commendation is different.
It really hit me how much guys use that as a badge of honor. I mean, they really, they take a lot of pride in that award, as, it's really a test to their professionalism and their competence and their ability to do the mission. So it really hit me then on the deployment, how much it means to the guys to have that and be able to really wear it for the rest of their careers.
For the 114th Public Affairs Detachment, I'm Army Sergeant Kayla Rorick.
Thank you, Sergeant Rorick. Next up, from Exeter, Rhode Island, Army Staff Sergeant Whitney Hughes tells us about the Joint Disaster Response Exercise.
About 90 New Hampshire National Guard soldiers and airmen recently traveled to Exeter, Rhode Island to undergo a rigorous evaluation exercise. The soldiers and airmen are part of the New England Chemical, Biological, Radiological, and Nuclear Enhanced Response Package, and the evaluation was their final certification for the year. In a scenario that resembled a zombie movie, the soldiers and airmen treated role players who were supposed to have been exposed to hazardous materials after a hurricane collapsed the building. The 42 New Hampshire soldiers were part of the decontamination team who helped clean the simulated victims, while the 45 New Hampshire airmen were part of the medical element who helped treat the patients after they were decontaminated.
This is just a good opportunity for our soldiers. Know that they're helping the local community. And for most of these soldiers, they would be helping their neighbors, their families, and basically getting back to the roots of the National Guard.
At the end of the six-day event, the team passed their evaluation and continues to be at the forefront of disaster response for New England. For the 114th Public Affairs Detachment, I'm Staff Sergeant Whitney Hughes.
Thank you, Staff Sergeant Hughes. 54th Troop Command faced a big change over the weekend when Command Sergeant Major Jason Speltz passed the guide on to incoming Command Sergeant Major David Beecher during their Assumption of Responsibility ceremony in Concord, New Hampshire. As we bring the report to a close, we would like to thank you for watching. Until next time, for the 114th Public Affairs Detachment, I'm Army Sergeant Courtney Selig.